Welcome back to the Virtual Elephant YouTube channel. I'm Chris Muchler, Principal Enterprise Architect and VCDX 257. In this video, part 7 of my brand new VCF Home Lab series, I'm showing you how to configure BGP throughout the physical and the software-defined network layers. We're going to show you how to configure BGP on the Cisco Nexus 3064s, on the pfSense Netgear 8200, as well as within the Tier 0 that the NSX Edge deployed for us as part of the SDDC manager's workflow. So let's jump in right now and let's get started. Before we jump right into configuring BGP on the physical network, I want to let you know that I encountered a number of problems as I was doing this, and I left all of those troubleshooting steps that I took within this video, and that's why it clocks in at close to 90 minutes. So I ask for your patience and stick with us. Use the chapters to be able to navigate through the different sections of the videos, especially if you're interested in how to configure BGP just on the Tier 0s, because maybe you're already familiar with how to do it on the physical networking with Cisco. But certainly watch the video and see what mistakes I made so that you can prevent yourself from making those very same mistakes. So let's jump right in. Good evening. We're back into the home lab and we're ready to move on to the next set of tasks as we finish the setup of our VCF installation. So if I quickly come over here to our SDDC, this is our vCenter, so we'll log in here. Last night, after completing the VCF deployment, we had the SDDC manager go and deploy the Edge VMs. So we'll log into the vCenter server here. So we can see now we have our 3 Edge VMs here on the right side of this or left side of the screen. We'll come over here, we'll reload this page. So here is our SDDC manager. So if we come to workload domains, we click our domain, we come over here to Edge clusters. We can now see that the NSX Edge cluster is active, that there are 3 Edge nodes, Edge 1, 2, and 3. And then if we log into our NSX environment, we'll come over here to networking. Actually, let's first go to system. We can go to fabric. Nodes. We can now see our Edge transport nodes. We can see that they are on version 4210, that there is 1 NVDS, that there are 8 tunnels, that they each have 2 TEP addresses from VLAN 137 that we specified. We can go to Edge clusters and we can see that there is an Edge cluster, which those 3 Edge VMs are a member of. Now if we come over to networking and look at topology, we can see that it went and deployed a Tier 0 for us right here, and it deployed a Tier 1 for us, as well as creating these segments that it connected to, so 611 and 612. So we have our uplinks on the Tier 0 should be configured as well. If we come down here and go to interfaces, and then we can see we've got our Edge interfaces 1053 11, 1052, 11, 1053, 12, 12, 13, 13. So we've got all of our Edge interfaces online as well, but you can see that we do not have BGP turned on and we do not have any routings turned up yet. So we are going to do that next. And so we're going to do that within the environment. We can also see here, we've got our T1. It's an active standby, which actually we want to change. So we're going to edit this. We're going to change it to distributed. We're going to make sure for route advertisement that everything is turned on. We'll hit save. and then close editing. And we should be able to hit status and see that it's complete. So perfect. So it's a distributed router now. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So what we want to do next is actually get BGP working on this network. So we want BGP to be working between the pfSense firewall and the two leaf switches, those 3064 Cisco Nexus switches. And then we also want BGP to be working between the leaf switches down to the tier 0. So that's what we are going to configure next within the environment. So the first thing we're going to do is log into our pfSense. And this is a firewall that has the ability to do BGP if we install a package. So we're going to come here to Package Manager. We're going to come over here to Available Packages. We're going to search for BGP. And here it is, FRR Routing Daemon for BGP, OSPF, and OSPF 6. So we're going to install this on our pfSense. And then once it's installed, then we'll go and configure it. So we can see how quickly it configured. So now if we come over here to services, we can see all of these FRR packages are now in here. So we're going to go to BGP. We're going to click enable. We're going to give it a local AS of 65001. We are not going to specify a router ID. We're not going to mess around with any of the timers. We're not going to enable either of those public key infrastructure or SNMP agents. We don't want to do an administrative shutdown. Okay, we look good here. Nope. Look good. Not doing OSPF. We're not going to redistribute RIP. All right, so we're good. We can just go ahead and hit save. Now BGP is turned on, so now we need to configure the neighbors. So it's going to have two neighbors. This is going to work on the 10.1.10 network. So if you remember, the LAN interface on the pfSense is 10.1.10.254. And so that is connected to 10.1.10.2 is the first leaf switch. So this is leaf switch 1A, no password. Okay, the remote AS number is going to be 65002. We haven't yet configured that on the Cisco, but that's what it's going to be. I'm going to do IPv4. Enable BFD, graceful restart. Everything else looks good. So we'll hit save. So now we have that neighbor. And now we're going to add the second leaf switch. So this is leaf switch 1B. Okay, the remote AS again, 65002. For the leaf switches, enable BFD and hit save. So now we have the two neighbors on the pfSense for the leaf switches configured. Now if we come over here to status and we go to BGP, it's not yet enabled. Oh, hang on. Let's make sure we enabled it. Enable BGP routing. Save. I have to enable FR. So there we go. Do that first. We'll do syslogging later once we have our login site server. Master password file is required. Oh, there we go. So now we should be able to hit status, FRR. There we go. So we're going to go over to BGP routes. Right now, everything should be down. Okay, so BGP summary, 10.1, 10.2, up, down, never. Okay, so it's never done it. Same here, never. Okay, so undefined, external link, status is active, but its last write was never. Okay, so it isn't getting anything because the Cisco switches are not yet configured for BGP. So we're going to go and do that next. Okay, now that we have the pfSense set up for BGP, the next step is to configure the Cisco Nexus 3064 leaf switches for BGP. So you can see here on the screen that I have my console window open to leaf switch A and leaf switch B. So we're going to log into them right now. And the first thing that we need to do is conf t, and then we need to do feature BGP, show run, and now we can see BGP is there. So we will copy run to start. We'll do the same thing on the second switch. So we'll do conf t, feature BGP, show run. We can now see BGP feature is there. So we'll copy run to start. All right, so now we do conf t on leaf switch 1A. We're going to go router BGP 65002. That was the local AS that we told the pfSense that my Cisco's would be on. So from here, we're going to do a router ID of 10.1, 10.2 for this local one. I'm going to tell it the address family is IPv4 unicast. And then we're going to say neighbor 10.1, 10, 254. That's the pfSense. And the remote AS on the pfSense is 65001. And from here, now we're going to say description. We're going to call this the pfSense eBGP peer. We're going to say eBGP multi-hop 2. And we're going to say the update source is VLAN 10. And then we're going to say network 10.1.10.0/24. Oops. Oh, it's still in the network 10.1.10. Oh, it took us out one too many, so IPv unicast. There we go. Network 10.0/24. Network 10.1.10.11. Let me just make sure I got that. .11/24. 10.1.12.0/24. All right, so now we've added our networks. Should be able to say exit, 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 show BGP. show BGP all. I is for internal. Local router ID is 10.1.10.2. So now we want to go show BGP. There we go. So let's see what it says now. BGP state says it's still idle. 10.1.10.254 is not configured. No established BGP session. Oh, maybe because I said to use VLAN 10, but pfSense is not actually using that. So let's go to router BGP 65002 and then address family. And then neighbor. We'll go no update source 110. No address family configured. Oh, this is on the wrong router ID. This is on the pfSense is on the, it's listening for BGP on the internal, or sorry, the on the WAN interface. Let's see. So we did a route map the last time, so IP, no. Oh yeah. So first an IP prefix list default rounds. Having IP prefix list.
Then after that, that's when we did gave the router ID and address family, IPv4, unicast. We said redistribute direct route map and then we said static route map. Maximum pass 4, maximum pass IBGP 4, default information originate, all right, so we should exit, show run. Okay, so here's our prefixes and our 2 route maps. Here's our BGP router, BGP 65002. The router ID is the local IP address for this leaf switch, address only IPv4 unicast. The networks that we've got: redistribute direct, route map, redistribute static, max pass, IBGP, default information, originate, neighbor 10.1.10.254, remote as AS65. Oh, that's what's wrong. This is 65001. That's what's wrong. This is why we check everything. So router, BGP 65002 would do no neighbor 10.1.10.254 remote AS65002, and instead do neighbor 10.1.10.254 remote AS65001. And then this is the description, is the pfSense BGP peer. And we're not to do that. Timers 3090. And then address family for unicast. Show run. Now, there we go. BGP state equals established. All right, so if we come back to our pfSense and refresh it, we should now see it is peering with the first leaf switch. Boom. All right. So it's up. Leaf switch 2. It's up. Awesome. All right. So now we can do the first copy, run start. So here we're going to go conf t first. We are going to create those IP prefixes. So IP prefix list default route sequence 20 permit 000/0 IP prefix list, VLANs, sequence 10, permit 10, 000/8, LE32. Then we're going to do route map. Redistribute to BGP, permit 10. And in here, we're going to match IP address prefix list VLANs. Now we're going to create route map. Permit 20. Match IP address prefix list default route. And now we're going to go down to router BGP 65002 on this side. We're going to give it a router ID of 10.1.10.3. That's the local IP for this leaf. Address family, IPv4 unicast. Go network 10.1.10.0/24. Network 10.1.11.0/24. All right, now we're going to go redistribute direct route map. Maximum paths 4. BGP4 default permission originates. And then we're going to go neighbor 110.254 remote AS 65001. Don't make the same mistake twice. Description, this is pfSense, BGP peer. All right, timers 3090, and then address family, IPv4, unicast, shall run. Show BGP IP unicast neighbors. And its state is established. So now again, we'll come back to the pfSense. We'll reload this page, and now we should see it peering with both of the. So now on the pfSense, we can come down here and we can see it's got established peers with both leaf switches. So now that we have those leaf switches, I believe one of the things that I added in yesterday that I didn't remember having to do before, which was that static route. So I don't think I need that anymore. Let's see. Routing. Yeah, this one. Don't think I need this one anymore. So static routes. We're going to delete this. Can I just disable it? All right, it's disabled, so it's not deleted. So then I should be able to come over here to I get on the log me out. Let's see. Don't know if we've got services. Just start SSH up real quick here on ESXi01. Maybe I do still need that static route. I guess I do still need that static route. Okay. All right, that's fine. So we've got our network BGP configuration working between the pfSense and the leaf switches. Now the next thing to do is actually configure the leaf switches to peer down to the tier 0. So what we're going to do here is log into NSX because it logged us out. And we're going to look at the tier 0. Just clear all this. So again, you can see our tier 0. You can see it has 6 interfaces on it, 3 on VLAN 611 and 3 on VLAN 612. So we're going to come to the tier 0 and we are going to edit. So we want to turn BGP on. Again, this one's going to be 65003. I'm going to set up the route aggregation. And then we're going to come here to neighbors. We're going to add 2 BGP neighbors, 1 to leaf switch 1 and 1 to leaf switch 2. So 10 dot sorry, having a complete okay 253.2 and 252.2. All right, so 10.252.0.2, you can turn BFD on. The remote AS is going to be 65002. Route filter, add, apply. Okay, we're going to select a source address. So we're going to peer up with 252 on this one, and that one. And we'll hit save. And then we're going to add a BGP neighbor of 10.2. Turn on BFD 65002. Set the route filter. And then we are going to select the 253 addresses. Save. You know, it's showing as down. This one will say down because obviously we haven't configured the leaf switch to know about these links on the tier 0. So we'll go ahead and hit all right, so we're going to come back here to our topology where we can see the IPs. So first we're going to configure 252.0.11. So now we're going to come over here to our leaf switch again. And
we are going to do show run. All right, now we're going to do comp T. We're going to go router BGP 65002. And now we're going to go neighbor 10 252.0.11, right?
252.0.11. And its remote AS is 65003. We're going to go description. This is our tier 0 VLAN 612 peer.
All right. And then hit enter. Timers 3090. Address, family, IPv4 unicast. Show run. Get to the bottom. So now we see the next neighbor on the tier 0, that 11 address. So now we should be able to go and its state is established. We look at it here. Edit BGP. Now we see that one is up. So now it is technically only pairing with the one. So we'll add those others, but first we'll add 252. Oh, that's the second switch. So one leg into switch A on 611, another leg into switch B on okay, so that's right. All right, so now we've got to come over to first copy, run start. And then show run here. Comp T, router BGP. Neighbor 10 253.0.11. Remote AS 65003. And here we're going to go description. This is our tier 0 VLAN 611 BGP peer. We're going to say timers 3090, address, family, IPv4 unicast, show run. There it is. 253. And established. So now we'll come here. Again, we'll come back to BGP neighbors. There we go. So now all of the BGP neighbors are up between the tier 0 and the leaf switches. Now, we haven't, let's see where all these alarms are. BFD interfaces down. Oh, because I think I don't turn on BFD. Let me change that. Edit. Save. Save. There we go. Close editing. This was a few minutes ago, so these should all get cleared. All right, so we'll clear those and watch this. Okay, so now okay, and it's set up to route advertise everything, including static routes, connected segments that we do on the tier 1s, any VPC segments. Okay, connected segments on the tier 0. Apply, save, and then I wanted to do this. I think this is what I need to delete. Don't actually need that. Save, close. Showing is down. BGP neighbors are on. No errors. Well, we're going to test it anyway. So what we want to do next is we've got our tier 1. So we're going to create a new segment. This was the next thing we wanted to do. So we're going to call this the services segment. Going to connect it to AZ1. And it's going to be on the overlay, and it's going to be 10.500/24/24. We're going to go ahead and hit save. Hit new segment policy VE. And we don't want DHCP server block to be on. All right. So that should be letting DHCP work. We've got to actually come down here to networking profiles, close editing, networking profiles, DHCP, add a new DHCP. So now we come over here, we edit our settings, we'll be able to set a DHCP profile, and then we should be able to say we want this to be a gateway DHCP server. Look.
All right, so there's our DCP, close. Should be able to come over here. See that our services segment is over here. It's on 10.5.0.1. So if we come back to our status, if everything is working correctly and BGP is being established on the tier 0 up to the leafs and the leafs up to the pfSense, we should see this route for 10.5.0.0/24 in the BGP summary. And it's not getting it. All right. So let's come back to our tier 0. And why is our tier 0 showing as down? All right. I think what we have to do is finish. Let's see, finish configuring it on the. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to add all 6 addresses. So let's go conf t. Let's first show run. All right, so conf t router BGP 65002. Go neighbor 10.252.0.12, remote AS 65003, description T0 VLAN 612 peer, timers 3090, family. Sure, it's 113. So 11, 12, and 13, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so it's all 3 of those. Remote AS 65003. Oops. Neighbor 10.232.0.13. Remote AS 65003. Description T0 VLAN 612 peer, and then we're going to do timers 3090, and we're going to go address family IPv4 unicast, and then we're going to go neighbor 10.252.0.12. Remote AS 65003, and we're going to go description. This is T0 VLAN 611 peer, timers 3090, address family IPv4 unicast,
And neighbor 10.253.0.13 remote AS 65003. Description T0 VLAN 611 peer. Timers 3090. Address family IPv4 unicast. Show run. So now we should have 6 neighbors plus pfSense, so 7. Let's see. So there's the pfSense. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I configured 13. No, let's see. Oh, I didn't configure 11. So 252.11, 252.12, 253.13, 253.12, 253.13, not 253.11. Okay, so conf T, oops. Router BGP 65002.
Neighbor 10.253.0.11.
Remote AS 65003. Description Tier-0 VLAN 611 peer. And this is timers 3090. And then address family IPv4 unicast.
And don't let anybody mistake me for a full-time network engineer. I am not. I have to read a lot of documentation. It was a very long time, 20-some years ago, that I got my CNA. So it was a long time ago. I had never purported to be a network engineer. So mistakes like this just happen for me. Okay, so that looks good. So let's copy, run, start. Oh, that's because I was peering.
Three of these are going to show down because the peer on the tier 0 for the 253 is wrong. Let's see. Okay.
So what I was trying to do was, so this 252.02, this is leaf switch 1A. How he's going to peer it with the 3 interfaces on VLAN 6.12 or 10.252.0, 11, 12, and 13. So on that leaf switch, I don't need these 3 because it shouldn't ever see appear on, well, no, let's think. No, because it's now peering back down. So it's got 3 that go to the one uplink and then 3 that go to the, no, that's right. Okay, that is right. All right. I did talk myself through this. So let's see. Now we should be able to see 12 is established, 13 is established, 253, 13 is idle. And oh, because this is leaf switch, these 3 are idle. And I'm not going to use these 3. That's right. Okay. So on leaf switch 1A, I only need to have the neighbors on the 10.252, 0, 11, 12, and 13. So, and then it's vice versa on leaf switch B. So router BGP 65002, no neighbor 10.253.0.11 remote AS 12 and 13.
because this leaf switch is only going to peer with the uplink on VLAN 612. Show run. But it is going to peer on all 3 of those. So copy, run, start. So now I'm doing the opposite on this one. It's going to be only VLAN 611, 10.253. So show run. Yes, we have to add 12 and 13 here. So conft router BGP 65002 neighbor 10.253.0.12 remote AS 65003. And this is the description of this one is T0 VLAN 611. Timers 3090. So now 10.253.0.13. Address, family, unicast. So there's my 3 neighbors for leaf switch 1V over VLAN 611. So now if we do show BGP IP v4 unicast neighbors 10.253.0.11, it's established. 12 is established and 13 is established. So let's see if that fixed my tier 0 and if it now shows as up. There we go. Now it's up. So, network topology. This is up. Okay, it's up, no warnings. I got a tier 1 that's distributed in one segment, 10.501. Okay, so we should be able to put a virtual machine out on this services NSX segment and traverse all the way up through. Now, the other thing we should be able to do here is make sure that it's redistributing all the way up to the top. We should see this BGP route appear in our thing. We do not. Let's see. Well, it's definitely on leaf switch B. There's 10.500/24. And there it is there. So what's up? All right, so we're going to test the routing. So we're going to come over here to ESXi host. And we haven't really done anything in here. First thing we're going to do is actually create a content library on our server. Local, yes. No security policy. And we're going to put it on our vSAN data store.
Go ahead and create it. All right, now we have it. So the first thing we need to do is get an ISO to be able to install. Looks like I've got it actually. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to import an item from a local file. Downloads. There we go, CentOS stream. There we go. Import that one. And I'm going to import another one. I should have an Ubuntu in here. There it is. So we're going to let these import, and then we're actually going to, while those are importing, we can come over here, go to inventory, go to file folders, going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this one services. And we're going to create a new VM. New virtual machine. I'm going to call it let's see. We'll have this one be our NFS server. Okay, you're going to put it there. We are going to do vSAN, because that's all we've got right now. I haven't done the iSCSI stuff. It's going to be Linux. It's going to be Ubuntu. I'm going to go 4, 8, and we're going to give it, let's see, it's going to be our NFS server. So we can give it 750 gigs. Now we are going to attach it to our services. See that right there, services port group. For now, that's good. Next, finish. So it's creating that. Looks like our Ubuntu one just finished. So we should be able to click on it and go edit settings, connect to content, connect to our Ubuntu image, connect it power on. Go ahead. Oops. So this should power up. So this is going to turn on, and then we'll see if we can't deinstall. If the network is plumbed correctly, it should be able to do the install over the internet. So I will eventually configure this virtual machine to be my NFS server in the environment. For now, we're just going to do the base install and then just leave it. Okay, so if we come over here, we look back at our Notion while this is doing it. So we're pretty sure we've done this. Looks good. We started creating our segments. We haven't finished it. I've got a few more to create, so I'll do those in a minute with you. But I think we've configured this. Between the leafs and the pfSense, and between the tier zeros and the leafs, it looks good. So we're just going to test the connectivity
If everything looks good, then we'll go and create some more of the network segments that I use within my NSX environment. So as many of you know, I love Kubernetes. I do a lot with Kubernetes. There's more Kubernetes content coming out in my YouTube channel, which I encourage you to check out. So we will be installing Rancher again in this environment. We're going to do VKS. That's actually one of the next things I'm actually going to do in the lab. I'm hoping to do that next after we've confirmed all of the networking is working, is to deploy the VKS supervisor cluster. But we'll be running some Rancher. We'll be running some Red Hat OpenShift in the environment as well. We'll also be using Rancher to deploy a number of Kubernetes clusters, some with Cilium. We're going to do some cluster mesh with Cilium as we prepare to take the certification test for Cilium. There's now a CNCF certification for Cilium, so we're going to do that this year, as well as re-upping my CKA certification here in the coming weeks. So this environment's going to get heavily used for Kubernetes, as among other things. All right, so we're going to do Ubuntu server. Done. Let's see. Got an IP address 10.50.100. That looks good. So now let's see if we can reach out to the internet. That is not looking good. We'll let it keep running, but we're going to switch screens here. Go back to NSX. So look at my tier 0. So the tier 0 definitely passed that route. Oh, let's see. Nope, unable to reach it. Network is unreachable. Okay. So we are definitely having, okay, so this is getting it. But the pfSense is not. So we're going to come back here to our pfSense. We'll look at BGP. Oh, that's the status. Okay. Look at BGP settings. All right. Router ID. Okay, let me do this over again. Okay, so come to Services, Global Zebra. All right. Route Maps tab. So we're going to trash this. Okay, we're going to add. It says give it a name. So we're going to call it default route map. Oh, it just says to call it allow all. Okay. In the description, we're going to call it match any route. Okay. We're going to do action to permit sequence 100. And that's it. Okay, so we're going to save that one. Then we're going to go to services. BGP. I'm going to
check that it's enabled. We're going to give it the local AS. We're going to give it a router ID. And then it says networks to distribute. Where is networks to distribute? And click save. So it doesn't say to do any of that. Okay, so click save. And then it says to go to the neighbors tab. Okay, we're going to give it my neighbor. And for the route map filters, allow all, and hit save. I'm going to do that for the second one. Allow all, save, and then give it a password, which we did. Now we should be able to go to status. There it is. 10.5.0 via 10.1.10.2 and 10.1.10.3, and our BGP routes. Now it's all working. It sees all of our BGP routes. Ooh, okay. So now that it sees all of those, now we should be able to come back here and hit try again. Actually, hang on, let me come back up here to firewall rules, LAN. Right, we don't have a 10.5 network here. So we gotta copy this, pass, and this is, we're gonna go 10.5.0, and this is going to be a /16. .5.0. Try it. There we go. So it was both that the routes weren't up there, and after the routes were up there, I needed to add the 10.5.0/16, which is where I'm going to put all of my NSX segments, like 10.5.0.0/24, 10.5.1.0/24, and so on and so forth. You need to put them in there. All right, so now we can go done. We're going to use the entire disk. Okay. All right, so this is installing this is installing my NFS server right now, but we did that mostly just to make sure that everything is plumbed correctly, and you can see that it is now within our environment. So we come back here, just look at this, close editing, go back to the topology, so you can see here we've got our tier 0, we've got our tier 1 that's distributed, and we have a service.
services segments. We're going to create some more segments, and that's going to be the last thing that we do. So we're going to add a segment. Hang on, I got a list of these that I want to do, but I'm just going to move it down to another monitor here. All right, so we're going to create a segment called the AVI VIPs. We're going to connect it to the tier 1 on the VE transport overlay. This is going to be 1051.1/24. We're not doing DHCP on this one. We are going to edit it, just for consistency's sake. Okay, then we're going to add another segment. This one's going to be called Kate's Cilium 1. Connected to that same tier 0 overlay. This is going to be 10.521/24. This one we are going to do DHCP 10.5.2 10.5.2 100 to 10.5.2 199 3600 and 10.1 10 11 10 10 12 /24. All right, save that, edit it, profiles to the B security profile. All right, close. So Kate's Cilium 2. (10.5.3.1/24) DHCP 10.5.3.254/24 10.5.3.100 to 10.5.3.199 3600 10.1 10 11 10.1 10 12. Save, edit, security profile. So we do this one to make sure that DHCP works, if you're wondering. All right, so now we're going to do, let's see, Kate's OpenShift. (10.5) 4.1/24 10.5.4 54/24 10.5.4/100 10.5.4/199 3600 10.1 10 10 11 10.1 10 12. All right, segment profile, boom. All right, so now we've got our AVI VIPs, our Kate's Cilium 1, our Kate's Cilium 2, our Kate's OpenShift 1. We have our services segment. We've got a couple more, so we're going to do Kate's Rancher 1. (10.5.5/24) All right, 10.5.5/254 10.5.5/100 10.5.5/199 And I think we got one more to create and then we're all done. Okay, that segment, save, close, and add a segment. Kate's Rancher 2. (10.5.6 1/24 10.5.6 254 24 10.5.6 100 to 10.5.6 199 3600 for the timeout lease, and then 10.1 10 11 10.1
down 12. Whoops. 12. All right. Save. Edit. Profile. Boom. Close. All right. So we have created all of our NSX segments. If we look at our topology over here, we're going to see that we've got 7 of them now. Minimize that so you can see Gates Rancher 1 and 2. Our services where we've got our virtual machine, Cilium 2, Cilium 1, Avi VIPs, Kate's OpenShift 1. Okay, so this is stuff that I'm going to be deploying inside of the environment. But the next thing that we're going to do is actually VKS. So we're going to do that next. So at this time, we now have VCF fully configured. We have everything running that you need to be able to start deploying virtual machines within your environment. And as you've seen in this video, I went through the steps to make sure that network connectivity was working from end to end. And we overcame several different networking issues and troubleshot them on the fly. As you can see, we've also been able to create a number of segments that I'm going to be leveraging in the future. And you'll see those segments being leveraged for the different workloads around Kubernetes in future videos. In the next part, part 8, I'm going to show you how I actually deployed the VKS supervisor cluster next within the VCF environment so that I could get it ready for Kubernetes from a vSphere and VCF perspective. As always, if you're enjoying this content, please make sure that you subscribe to the Virtual Elephant YouTube channel, you turn on notifications, and you hit that like button. And please leave me a comment below and let me know where you're having challenges within your environment and where I might be able to assist. Please reach out to me on Twitter or X at Chris Muchler, and I look forward to talking to you next time.